Hey everybody, it's been a while since I've done a video, so I thought I would talk today about the Florida Derby, which is being run at Gulfstream Park. I'm in Flagler Beach, and as you can see, it's a gorgeous day. I expect South Florida to be no different, but a little bit hotter. Great conditions for racing. So we're going to take a look at the Florida Derby. I've also got some AI analysis that I'll share at the end of this video, but I want to start off by looking at all the different contenders. So we'll start with Frankie's Empire. I've talked about horses like this before. He's a good horse. There's just not a lot to recommend. He's a little bit slow. You see, these are the par speed ratings, and they're not great, but he's been in great form. He's one of those horses, and you see him in every race that looks okay. He could win, but there's nothing compelling about Frankie's Empire, at least to me. Next, we go to Hades. Now, Hades is really interesting to me because he is undefeated. He's won fairly easily in all of his 3 starts, and he's 7-2 on the morning line. Here's the problem. You look at these ESRs, they're very much on the slow side. The par in this race is about a -6. Now, with the ESRs, the lower the number, the more energy required. You see that Hades has not been expending much energy in getting the lead in his previous races. He's been okay in terms of speed ratings. Now, here's what makes me interested in him. If you look at these running lines, first of all, you got Paco Lopez, who is a gate jockey. He's a guy that likes to establish position early. I don't know if Hades can do that, but the fact that he's battled in these other races makes me think that he might not need the lead either. The problem is when horses have been having easy trips, I don't think you can accept a short price, and I think 7-2 is too low on Hades. Grand Mo the First, very, very interesting contender here. First of all, you'll notice that last race LSR was a +7. That's extremely good. He pressed the pace, didn't really make much of an impact, and he's generally pretty slow. But that LSR really has me intrigued, and he's 15-1 on the morning line. No matter what you make the fair odds, I think they're going to be lower than 15-1. So I think Grand Mo the First definitely offers some value in this race. Let's go on to Rio Macho. And here again is a horse, actually not even as good as the rail horse in that he's kind of slow. You see the speed figures here, and the form hasn't exactly been great. Nothing leaps out with the LSRs. In fact, most of them are poor. Not a big fan of this guy. 20-1. I think he's going to be a long shot. We come to another very interesting contender in La Dame Bro. This horse is 15-1 on the morning line. Again, not particularly quick if you look at those speed ratings, but there's an intriguing quality to this horse. He was second in the Fountain of Youth. That's typically a prep for the Florida Derby. I think 15-1 is too high. And again, I go back to what I was just talking about. No matter how you come up with your fair odds, I think you got to go lower than 15-1. He's a contender in my book. Catalytic is next. He's 20-1 on the morning line. Not a lot to recommend. This horse is coming from an optional claimer at Tampa Bay Downs. You see that the speed figures are very, very low. Obviously, the form is pretty good, but he's been coming off the pace. He's going to be stretching out today. Not the kind of horse that I get real enthused about. Conquest Warrior, 3-1 on the morning line. This is another one that actually surprises me. I don't understand 3-1. Look at these speed ratings. I mean, those are just not good. He won his last race very, very easily. Obviously, Jose Ortiz in the saddle is a good sign. Good training stats. There are some things to like. So I won't, badmouth people going for this horse, but I will if you're betting him at 3-1. That's just too low on Conquest Warrior. Fearlessness, this is a horse that won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and did so very impressively. I mean, look at these numbers. He comes off the pace, not a particularly fast pace, but a 0 LSR. He won it easily, 109 par speed figure. And then when he came back in the Holy Bull, he was the 1-5 favorite. And you notice he was right up close to the pace, not a fast pace again. Had a tough trip. He was pinched at the start, or pinballed at the start is what they say. He can certainly improve. It's Todd Pletcher. Here's another thing to notice. Take a look at this. A bullet workout last time for Todd Pletcher. Now, that is a rarity. So I think this horse has a ton of ability. He has to be used. 8-5, that's a little bit on the low side. But I do think this horse competes very well, and he should be up near the pace. Again, the projected pace in this race is not very fast. Then we come to Iris's Dream. This is a 30-to-1 shot, and you can see why here. The speed figures are just not up to snuff. Now I want to go to my AI analysis, and what I did here is I simply had an artificial intelligence machine look at my reports and correlate all the data. So the top choice, according to AI, is fierceness. That's not that surprising. And if you look at the write-up here, it's pretty much all the things that we talked about. The thing that's interesting to me is you have Granmo the first and Ladam Bro as the second and third choices. Again, I think those horses offer a lot of value. On my race regression report, you'll see it kind of jives with what I was talking about early. Granmo the first not only has a positive race regression rating, that's why you have that dark yellow highlight. It's also got a positive form cycle, and that's what you see over here in green. All of that is good. Again, the big knock against him is he just doesn't have the speed, but these are 3-year-olds. They can improve very, very rapidly. You'll also notice that Ladam Bro is one of the contenders along with Fierceness. So it pretty much dovetails with what I said at the start. Fierceness, we already know the qualifications that he brings into this race. It's interesting that on the race regression report, there's a suggested exacta of 4.6. So if that cashes, obviously, that's going to be a boxcar payoff. But those suggested plays are based on database testing, and they do produce a positive ROI over time, or at least they did. Obviously, it's just like mutual funds. What happened in the past doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen going forward. But still a pretty good sign there. So again, if I were betting this race, and I will be for the first time in a long time, I'm going to look at Fierceness, I'm going to look at Granmo the first, and I'm going to look at Ladam Bro and use those plays or those contenders as my key plays. And this, the Florida Derby, one of the major prep races for the Kentucky Derby. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys all have a great betting day or just a great day in general.